So now we finally make his graduation. He's an officer. And we're going on this new adventure. We're going to Charleston to the Naval Station. How exciting. I'm going to be an officer's wife. I'm in a strange town. They don't even speak the same language. They speak the Southern language, which I didn't always understand. I get dropped into this house. No friends, no relatives, one little boy. And of course, as you always know, I'm pregnant. So here I am all by myself. We move in. 4 days later, I kissed my husband goodbye. There wasn't even a margin of adjustment there. It was, you take over, Linda, sink or swim. It's yours. And me, being me, I was determined I was going to be the best Navy wife in the whole world. We used to divide everything up as far as chores in around the house. He did his part, and I did my part. And he did it willingly. He took care of the outside, he took care of repairs, he took care of finances. Wow, now he's gone. And I do everything. And all we had then was letters, so there really wasn't a way to say, hey, Bud, what do you think I should do with this? Because until the letter got to him and he got it back, the problem was too big to handle. So deployment, my very first deployment, I grew up a lot. I grew up a whole lot. I learned to handle things. Meanwhile, this was my husband's first time on a ship as an officer. And I must say that maybe, just a little bit maybe, he was really enjoying that. Because sailors may have mumbled under their breath when he told them to do something, but they always answered, yes, sir, no, sir, and they went and did it. And then they grumbled. But he was well respected and they liked him because Bud came up from the enlisted ranks. He was enlisted and went in the Navy at age 18. Started at the bottom of the pile, and now he's an ensign. Whoa, baby. So I meet the ship, and for the first couple days, it's all honeymoon, roses, and wine, and it's so sweet. I'm so happy to have my husband home. Happy, happy, happy. Now, he wasn't supposed to be home. This ship came in because of engine problems. 2 weeks, and he was gone again. And I was back to being in charge of everything. So now we go through this honeymoon phase where we are just having fun. He doesn't have much to do. The ship's in the shipyard getting the engine repaired. So he reports, he comes home at noon. And we have the afternoon, so we're doing all kinds of free stuff. So Bud takes a little bit of time reviewing what's happening at home, including the checkbook. Now, Bud is left-brained, or was left-brained, and everything in that checkbook was, so it wasn't hard to follow his pattern, and I think I did a pretty good job. So he's reviewing it, and I'm looking over his shoulder this one afternoon, and he puts a check mark by one. And I know what that means. That means sometime, and he'll pick his time, he wants to discuss what that is. I wasn't sure what it was. I couldn't really see it, and then he put it away. So now we're getting ready to go to bed. And I hear Bud yell, Linda, doll, hey doll, where's my toothbrush? Oh, I put it in a Ziploc bag and under the sink. He says, what did you do that for, doll? Didn't say a word. He took the toothbrush out, hung it up on the thing. I figured, okay, I think I know what this is going to be about. So we crawl into bed. And all ready for bed. He has his teeth brushed and I have mine, and we're having our pillow talk. And he decides this is the time to bring up that entry in the checkbook. Well, he starts out, Doll, what was that thing about the exterminator? Now, he's very used to me being a little bit contrite and whiny, and I went into that mode first off. I said, well, Bud, I really tried to handle it myself, but there were bugs everywhere. I mean, I had to lock the dishes in the dishwasher. I had to be careful. I'd walk into the kitchen, turn on the light, and the palmetto bugs were on the wall. And I used the bathroom in the hallway, and one flew out at me and into my hair, and it was terrible. And I was so upset. He says, well, did you call the landlord? He should be responsible for that. He should be responsible for extermination. Well, I still stayed with the little wifey role, and I said, I called the landlord. He's out to sea too, and his wife, Mrs. Lieutenant, she joined up late because her husband was an Annapolis grad, and now he is lieutenant or above, I don't really know. And she really wasn't interested in me. She had a daddy that had money and no kids. So by the end of the conversation, she really got out of the whole thing by saying, oh, Linda, I will consult with Jerry. I'll write him a letter. I will, all right, I'll ask my daddy, the commander. Yeah, but I have to go now. I have a bridge game this morning, or the other time I would call. I have a cocktail party to go to this afternoon. I will get back to you. I will be sure to write to Jerry. Call after call after call, no answer. So now Bud's gonna question me that this owner of the house should have paid for this. I'm dealing with prima donna over there who joined in on this whole business of being a Navy wife late in the picture. As long as her husband kept her in a pretty house and daddy gave her enough cocktail parties, she was happy. She was the princess. I wasn't so much. I went through the whole struggle for Bud to be an officer. I was there all the time. And now I was in charge. But at this point, we have two captains of one ship. And you know you can't have two captains of one ship. There's only one. Which one? Well, for the past 3 months, it was me. Before that, we kind of shared the command, and we did it fairly, but we had very traditional roles. So the next thing he says to me is, well, Dom, you know the landlord should have paid for that. That's the second time he said that. It wasn't the brightest thing he ever said. I kind of just rolled my eyes and said, well, he did it, and I took care of it. Oh, he said. Well, those kind of decisions we should make together, he said. You should have written me, and then I could have helped you make that decision. Oh. Yes, right. Right, Bud. Right. Then he really stepped into it. I answered him. I said, well, till I wrote the letter, meanwhile I'd be living with all these bugs. I had to do something immediately. Well, doll, I think you should have waited till I came home. And then we could have decided, or I could have decided, whether or not to exterminate this home. Oh my God, that was the last straw. I grabbed the quilt, I grabbed my pillow, and I said, I am not one of the men on the ship. I'm not one of your sailors that you can tell what to do. You are not in charge of me. I have the right to make my own decisions. And I'd like to say I made the exit gracefully out the door, but when I got to the bedroom door, I dropped the blanket and the pillow. Covering up, I said, and I salute you, Ensign. And I stumped out and went to the sofa to sleep. Now it was, hello there, Anne. It was quite a night. I was restless, but I did fall asleep. But I was really mad. How dare he come home? How dare he come home and tell me what to do? He wasn't here. He wasn't here. I made those decisions. And finally, I did fall asleep. I wake up in the morning, and next to me, wrapped all around me, is Bud. I'm still sort of miffed, and he knows it. So he peels back the comforter, and he starts using the ploy that always works for him. He starts kissing my neck. I pull the quilt back up and say, "What are you doing here?" Not my shining moment, no, not at all. I should have been very more gracious than that, but I wasn't. I reacted. I was angry. So then he said something really smart. He says, "You're right, doll. You have the right to make your own decisions. You're a grown-up person, and you have the right to choose what you want. You had the right last night to come out here and sleep on the sofa, and I appreciate that. But I also have the right to make my own decisions too. I do, doll. I have the right to make my own decisions. And last night, I decided that I would rather come out and sleep on the sofa with you than stay in our big bed alone without you.